is New York Daily News. I think it's kind of a tabloid, isn't it?
It's a tabloid satirical kind of
Yeah.
paper.
Did you
Yeah,
see that
it's kind of hit and miss.
where this
Yeah,
guy
mostly miss
walked
at times.
into an Oregon grocery store naked and he was holding a severed head?
Holding
Was it a
severed
real
head?
severed
It
head
was
or
a real head. It's on NBC. I seen it this morning.
Wow.
wow?
He walked in. Can you imagine?
Jeez.
And he had a knife. Oh, I didn't know this party stabbed somebody when he walked in.
Well, he obviously cut somebody's head off before
Yeah.
He
he
walked in with the head.
Did he?
Damn.
Some sick people.
I had a
out
friend of mine who had a glass eye. It was kind of like a half of a. It looked like a guitar pick that was kind of curved and it would fit in his eye.
Mm-hmm.
And we were at a bar in Shreveport, and he was like, "Hold on a second." He took a coaster and put it on top of his mug, and then he took his eye out and laid it on there. He told the bartender, he said, "Hey, keep an eye on my beer till I get back." I was like, "God Almighty, what'd you just pull your eye out?" And he's like, "It's a fake eye." I'm like, damn, keep an eye on my beer till I get back, please.
Oh, wow. That would give me the creepy crawlers.
Well, when
Yeah.
I was growing up, we had a friend that would take hers out.
Yeah,
Sammy Davis Jr. had a glass eye, didn't he?
yeah, that was that old joke. What's black has one eye and comes in a white box?
Now, do they still make glass eyes?
I don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't think I've ever met anyone that has one that I knew of.
Oh,
Here, let me give you mine.
I've met some people
Here's
I
looking
thought
at you.
had them.
Or can people hear us yet?
Yeah, they can hear us. Their ears looking at you.
I know some people that have a lazy eye, and then you don't know if they're looking at you or the guy across the room, or maybe they're
Yeah.
looking at us both at the same time.
Yeah.
So when people
Could
have the
be.
one eye that goes one
One
direction,
wa-
are
yeah.
they looking in two directions?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I bet
Well, I
they
have
probably
a-
got a hell of a. They can probably check their blind spot without turning their head when they're driving.
Yeah.
I have a
I think
daughter
it's kind
when,
of sexy.
when she used to lie.
A
I would
cockeyed person.
I would always know she was lying because her eye would become lazy.
Yeah.
The lying
Man, my daughter's kindergarten teacher had a lazy eye, and everybody, other parents that try to talk to her, would get nervous, start to stutter or something like that. I was like, and they were like, "How do you not get nervous?" I look at the eye that's looking at me, not the lazy one.
Yeah.
That's the one I pay attention to. I look at the lazy one, then I become moldy ojo and start walking on walls and shit like that.
Well, yeah, but why even look at the eye at all? Just maybe look at their mouth or nose, or don't look at them at all.
Right, but some people, but they pay attention to the eye and they keep staring at it.
Yeah.
You know, there was a program director in Charlotte. Well, she programmed all over. She had a bad eye, and I was talking to her one day, and I'm like, "Is she looking at me or?" Is
You
she
put me
staring
on
at
the internet.
Okay.
She had a lazy
Yeah, I
eye.
know, right?
I'm like, "Are you
That's
looking at
freaky.
me or are you looking at traffic?" I can't really tell. And then somebody's like, "Why don't you go work at V101.9?" I'm like, "Well, Terry and I can't see eye to eye on that."
They can actually, they'll fix that. They have glasses that they wear when they're young and it'll straighten it
Correct
out.
it.
Yeah.
Hey, I got to shout out John Austin. He called me today. Do you know him, Lee?
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like he was selling me Amway because he was trying to. I'm just playing. He's got this Pass the Love project he's doing.
Yes.
Yeah, so it sounds like something we did in Hawaii called Musical Youth of Hawaii when I was out there, where we set up these little studios. We started with, actually, James Coles did it. He was a production director at Cox out there. But he got these boys and girls clubs to donate a space. And once he started, I mean, like Sweetwater and Musician's Friend were just sending him equipment because it was tax deductible. But it was just a place after school. He taught kids how to mix and DJ and scratch and produce
cool.
music. And so you could only take about 15 or 20 kids, at a time.
Sure.
But it started with one place in Honolulu, then they got one in Waianae, and they got one in Makakilo, and so then we had like 5 or 6 locations on the island where
That's
kids
great.
could get out of school and come be creative instead of standing on the corner.
Yeah, getting in trouble.
Yeah.
That's excellent. I always
Yeah.
thought
It's all right.
that would have been a good idea in Chicago during the craze of the mix, the whole mixing thing on the radio.
Have Scott Smoking Sills teaching an after-school mixing
Yeah, you know
class.
Scott?
Yeah, absolutely. When I was imaging, I can't remember what I was doing. I was doing some voiceover work, promos in Chicago. This was like in
For
2002. No, it was for
B103.
it may have been. He was the production director. Whatever station it was, he was
GCI.
the production.
He was
Yeah, and I was
GCI.
doing some reads, and he was producing them. And
Yeah. Yeah,
this
Scott's a
was
good guy.
15 years ago.
Yeah, he was one of the hot Mix 5.
Yeah, good dude, man.
One of
We
the
used to talk a
original.
lot, and we just lost contact. We just
Yeah.
quit. Yeah.
Yep. But I thought that would have been a good thing for them to have put together a mixologist school.
Yeah.
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 That would have worked. I mean, that was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
That's what they do in Hawaii. And I'm going to tell you what's funny is the kids got really good at it. So eventually, Musical Youth of Hawaii started another little branch called United DJs. And so you could hire the students to come do corporate events or weddings or school dances.
Sure.
So they were actually generating more money to build the nonprofit by. I mean,
That's
of course,
an
they would
excellent
pay the
idea.
kids, but they would, it was you could have a kid come DJ your corporate event.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
Well, they
great.
weren't kids; they were teenagers. Some of them are grown now.
Yeah. But it
That's all
creates
right there.
opportunities for those, especially for people who may not be, college and higher education is not for everyone.
That's
And-
right.
And sometimes you can do something like this and create a career.
Right. That's
Well,
right.
see, that's why I never, I was a proponent of people who, when you got rid of trade schools, once again, you just said not everybody's made for college or university material. And you did have students that went from high school to getting a trade or learning trade in high school, where they can go become, working in culinary or working as a mechanic or whatever profession that was given to them for them to go on with. And then when we removed that from schools, what else do they have? I mean, that's why you have certain, stuff in the street, because you don't give them a time to really grow as a person. We had no other outlet to utilize.
Yep. Leah, I have something I wanted to run by you. You, all of you, Carol and Chris. I would love to hear your opinions on it.
The fight in the studio.
Yeah, you see this fight in the
Yeah, I
in
saw
the
that
studio
over
at
the
W.
weekend.
Okay.
Why would
Yeah, so
they
when I-
show that to people, though?
Yeah, I mean that's my that was my argument. Like, first of all, I hear the staff at WPEG and WBAV constantly complain. We got the same equipment that we got 15 years ago when we moved in this building. The country station has had 3 studio upgrades. We get their old equipment when they get new stuff. The top 40 station got a new studio. We still using these old raggedy ass boards. And so, first of all, maybe it's because you fight in the studio and tear shit up and just busted 2 monitors. And so,
Is that at PEG?
yeah, that's the WPG.
So who are the characters in this video? Who's the guy with the
Two
big
two
buff
guy.
guy?
One guy's named Peter. He's a club owner in Atlanta. I don't know the other guy's name. He's on Real Housewives of Atlanta. They were in there doing.
Oh
an
yeah, the
interview.
guy with the beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't recognize him, but I'm looking at the video now. He's an older guy.
And so, you saw what I posted there. When I watched this, I'm like, okay, this happened like 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So PEG sat on it, the management of WPEG sat on it, and then released it, I guess, to parallel with the TV show. But they've got, so when I first saw it, I'm like, I said, Uzi, the PD, I tagged him. Surely you didn't authorize your logo to be put on this foolishness. And then he immediately removed the tag, which led me to believe, yes, he did. And then I talked to some people, and they said, unfortunately, he did. And so when I first saw it, my first thought was, it's so sad to me that an urban station would perpetuate such a negative stereotype that plagues the audience they try to serve. The only people that should have seen that fight were the 4 people in that room. And it disappoints me that the station would stoop to such lows to promote their brand. How is that going to increase your PPM if a video goes viral? Yeah, it promotes the station. I understand that. But it's counterproductive with sponsors because, trust me, I'm a white dude who's worked in urban radio, and we've been at remotes, and I've worked at some rhythmic stations. One in particular, we were at a Dave & Buster's, and we were doing our live remote, and the manager came out and like, what are all these black people doing here? We don't want these motherfuckers here. And that's racism. But what I'm saying is, I think it was socially irresponsible to perpetuate a false image of black men being violent, because that's not, everybody knows that's crazy.
Yeah, but let me ask you a couple questions. Maybe you know, maybe you don't. What was this fight all about?
I don't know. Some people think it may even be staged.
Yeah.
Some people think that it was staged, and that disturbs me even more because it looks real.
It does.
And
it
then
does
I asked,
kind of look staged because the big bald head guy certainly could take on the older gentleman in there. What's his name?
well, the older guy had a box cutter, so I did find that out.
Oh.
He pulled a box cutter. It may not have been staged. But I asked myself this: would WSOC, the country station, would K1047 or Kiss 95.1, would they have posted a video like that if some people had gotten in a fight in their studio? I don't think they would have. And so we can't post shit like this and then cry when advertisers don't want us doing a remote at their location.
Yeah.
And then we wonder why out-of-touch politicians, hold on, let me turn this down. We wonder why out-of-touch politicians label us, I say us, the black community, as violent super criminals, and why cops, little white boys who've never been in the hood become a cop and they draw their gun immediately because they're being bombarded with these images in the media, on TV and movies. And then not to mention, again, what I said about the other stations in the building getting new equipment and the black station don't get nothing new. Probably because the country boys ain't fighting and tearing up and shattering 3 monitors.
Yeah.
Well, Sammy Mack told me, you sound like an old person talking like that. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I do, because I am older than 18 to 34, and that's the target that
But wait a minute. Sammy said you sound like an old person.
He said, you sound old talking like that. I said, well, I am old. I'm older than 18 to 34-year-old.
What has that got to do with being responsible in a place of business? I mean, I would have fired everybody in this damn room. First of all,
WPG serves that 18 to 34 demo, and I'm older than them, and I'm also wiser.
But
that's why I think I have to lead.
Demographics has nothing to do with stupidity.
No, I understand that, but as a program director, for me to stamp my logo on this and blast it out on my Facebook page, I have to. I think there comes a responsibility with being a deliverer of content to a young mind. So.
Agreed.
I have to be responsible, and I have to lead by example with what I feed them intellectually and spiritually.
Exactly.
As if the music that hip-hop stations play isn't counterproductive enough to molding the core beliefs and values of their listeners.
Exactly.
Because we know kids repeat what they see.
You know what's really sad, and I agree with everything that you just said. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at some of the comments.
Right.
Peter had him, though. Mm-hmm. They're talking about, the fight and who won.
Right.
It doesn't matter. It's inappropriate activity in a radio station studio, in a radio station, period.
And the guy that posted the video is a Harvard graduate, this Joshua Keenan.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is a Harvard graduate perpetuating such foolishness and ignorance? Obviously, they didn't teach you that at Harvard.
Right.
Maybe take you out of the hood, but did Harvard take the hood out of you? It doesn't look like it did.
No, it's just it's irresponsible.
So it's extremely irresponsible.
And again,
and then what's disturbing more is you see DJ Butterfingers. He's the light-skinned guy that gets the hell out of the way, and he lets Jessica, the morning show co-host, get between these 2 men, one with a box cutter. He goes over and stands in the corner. So I always heard Butter was soft. I didn't know he was soft though.
Yeah, it's sad, and it's inappropriate for it to even be out in public. I would have never released it.
If I were an advertiser, I'm a client. Let's say I own Town and Country Ford. I just happen to go to PEG's website or their Facebook page, and I see this, and I think, you know what? I think I'm gonna cancel my remote this weekend because I don't want that shit out here.
Exactly. Now, the bald head guy, is he a part of the air staff?
Which
The
one?
tall
The tall one?
Yeah.
No, he's on the show too, I think,
Okay.
on Real Housewives of Atlanta, which is some fake staged, socially irresponsible bull crap too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of these shows painting a negative image of certain demographics of
Yep,
people.
just
I
to
mean,
get-
it's
to
been
get
going on
viewers.
forever.
Yep. Well, it's dumbing down.
Right.
It's not uplifting, and it's a shame that the world has come to that. You got to dumb down to get black folks to watch your programming or listen to your radio station. I
For
totally
that station to
disagree
be
with that.
successful, I need to increase my PPM. Not, I mean, I understand you want to, you want to go viral and draw attention to you, but really, this was one of those. I mean, I have to ask myself every morning, is this God's will for me to do this? I start my day like that. Like, God, let me stay in your will if at all possible. And let me make decisions that I think would be your will for me to do. And this one definitely wouldn't have passed that test. But that's just for me and where I'm at today in my spiritual path. But I wouldn't have done it. That's all I'm saying. I think it was irresponsible to the children
I agree.
who the FCC
Yes.
gives you a license to serve in the public interest, and I don't think that was in the best interest of 18-year-old young black men. and women,
Anybody,
especially men who want to.
It's not in the best interest of any demographic.
Right.
It's
But it definitely
displays
doesn't. It
ignorance,
definitely is
violence.
not progressive for the African American community.
No, for
Definitely does
anybody.
not
Anybody.
progress us.
Anybody. It doesn't
I
matter.
keep saying us. Like,
and
I
I know
don't
the
remember I'm
station. Is,
white sometimes.
yeah, I know the station is programmed primarily to an African American or black audience, but hip hop music today is
Right.
universal. It's today's pop music. The young white kids and Latinos that get into my car, they're all listening to the same shit.
I like to think when kids are listening to, if I were a PD and kids were listening to my stations, I would like to think that parents trust me to entertain their children. And so there
Yeah.
comes a responsibility with that.
They don't care anymore.
Well,
I never programmed negative stuff, and I always won. And so I don't.
Right.
And see-
I don't subscribe to the negativity and we're keeping it real. And this is the way the kids are speaking, and this is their language. You know what? That in itself is a problem. There's a breakdown in our neighborhoods, in our homes, in our churches, in our schools to make that the norm. It's not. It's not
Right.
productive.
No.
It is not
And
a good image.
and it continues to glorify a subculture of violence and bravado
Yeah.
and foolishness.
Absolutely. But
Yeah, because
That's my
the
take.
big wigs. No, you're right, and you're right. What you two talking about, Lee and Apollo is very commendable and it's correct. We talk about positive images and positive sounds and things like that. But look at the people, of course, who are in power, who are the big wigs, who say, you know what, we look at or deem 18 to 34 as the age of watching this so-called reality television. And when you watch reality television, it's more, if not all, negative. You have black women on there neck rolling. Every woman on there is always catfighting. Every confrontation happens, so we must placate to that. And then, as you know, the pressure to succeed. So everything, of course, is cross media. So this whole thing is happening with the video to cross promote that with the radio station and the hot whores of Atlanta, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
It gets to a point where the souls have already been sold down the river to hell, because it's no way in the world, if you're 18 years old coming up in this era, I kind of feel sorry for you to some degree. Technology is great, I mean, from that standpoint, but look at the standpoint of what you're looking at and listening to some degree. It's negativity. It's, what can I say? I mean, that affects you. Music affects us. And so when you look at that perspective just alone, take out the cross-media perspective, it can affect your mind. Your mind is still trying to grow and trying to find out who you are and your place. Like, looking, for example, just history-wise, of what the 60s was. The 60s was the decade of change, no matter how you look at it. We were never the same after the 60s. And music did have a place in that. Hell, the word teenager was not invented to the 50s. It never existed prior to that. So playing up to the younger demographic always been there from an advertising point of view. And I think it doesn't matter. I think it is what matters is the dollar amount. I always go back to the whole almighty dollar, and you follow the money trail. And you're absolutely correct. It should be more positive out there, but unfortunately, if you deal with negative or rubbernecking or anything that comes into the situation, people always gravitate towards that. That's the sad thing about it. It's coming over
Exactly.
more and more and more, and there's never really a counterbalance for it. It really is sad.
It is, and I won't participate in that. That's part of the
Right.
reason that I walked away from corporate radio. It's I don't subscribe to the mindset. I will not be a part of it, and it's a damn
Yeah.
shame that it's come to that level as being the norm.
Well, when Steve Harvey first launched his show, it was like one thing. He was outspoken and this is one of the things that he did that I agreed with. He was very outspoken about the negativity of hip hop, but a lot of hip hop stations were running his show, and I'm like, he's sitting here dogging the music you're going to go into at 10:00. I mean,
Right.
it was like, do you realize what you're doing here?
Yeah, that was the same. Like for example, here in Chicago, when he was on WGCI first, before he moved to the more adult V103, he would bash the music before he went on
Right.
locally. When he switched off at 10:00. You're right.
Yeah, yeah. It was. I don't know. Chris said, the powers to be. I sometimes believe that this criminal subculture is by design. And I'll tell you, Paul Porter does a great job of it on raprehab.com, his website, where he talks about, how it's much bigger than the artist. They're nothing more than puppets that are creating a criminal, violent subculture in the African American community that continues to fill up prisons and the prison industrial complex. And you look at the disproportionate numbers of African Americans that are imprisoned as opposed to Caucasians or any other race for that matter.
Yep.
And a lot of it is created and perpetuated with a subculture of music and video and images, because we know kids repeat what they see and what their friends think are cool.
And it
So
seems
you
to-
post a video, and instead of saying, this is sad, this is some bullshit, they say, who you think won?
Right. Exactly.
Well, look what's happening over time. I'm sorry, one point real quick. When rap was becoming mainstream and be commercialized, and we see them in commercials and things like that, and even when we watch these music shows, these award shows, the lead was rap, as far as example of artists and things like that. And then over time, when we've seen the negativity come in with, unfortunately, the West Coast, East Coast beef and things of that nature, it took a backseat to country. So all of a sudden, country became more safe for advertisers, because advertisers want to be on a program or be associated with rap and those type of people. When it comes to negativity, you go with something safe. So you have to align yourself where you get the most bang for your buck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's these powers that be do all the time, since day one.
Jeff Sessions would probably love that video
Oh, yeah.
because he's rolling back Obama-era drug sentencing reform the reforms.
Yes.
And so, like, if you get caught with a bag of weed, or you get caught with, it was like before Obama came in office, if a white boy got caught with a half a kilo of powder coke, he could get probation. A brother gets caught with a gram of crack, he's going to get a 5-year mandatory minimum.
Period.
Yes. And so, according to his latest financial disclosures required by Congress, dated December 23rd, 2016,
Yep.
Jeff Sessions lists numerous Vanguard funds. Vanguard owns more private prison stock than any other investment company in the United States of America.
There you
so
go.
the more people he sends to prison, the more money he shoves in
makes.
his pockets.
Absolutely. If that's
How is that not a conflict?
It is. It is. And it's they're probably protected legally by saying, well, we don't have any oversight about where the money is being invested. Wink, wink. You can't call Vanguard and say, listen, I really want to put the majority of my money in, this
Private prison.
Exactly. But
But those in charge of his trust
Right.
can call over there and do it.
Of course. And then he can lock up as many people as he wants and send them to the prison that he wants.
Right.
You
That's
know?
right.
So I want to wake up tomorrow and see the headlines that this freaking White House has been flushed, cleaned out.
You want to see? I'm gonna send you a funny video. You know this new kid, Tucker Carlson?
Yeah.
This
Oh, yeah.
sister he had on his show last week, Monique Presley, she got him so riled up. She was talking calm. She was talking just like I'm talking. And he got so pissed that she had him red in the face because she was hitting him with facts.
Yeah.
And I love an educated, pretty educated sister who can just sit there and just eat your lunch.
Chisel away at you.
She stayed so calm
Did she undress
with
him?
facts. He couldn't take it anymore. It's a short clip. Play that and watch how Fox News gets their lunch eaten.
Let me see if I can get a camera on it too.
Oh yeah, and she's so cute too. I mean, not that's not misogynistic. She's easy on the eyes, but she's a brilliant lady.
A brilliant kind of lady. I'll tell you,
I-
man. I'm just so upset with the way things are as it relates to our government, the administration,
Yeah.
and it's just super sad. All right, let's see.
Yeah.
Super sad, man. Let me get this up. Let's see here.
Where'd Carol go?
She just walked out.
Oh,
She don't like it when we're talking about stuff she don't want to talk about.
yeah.
She just
Well, Apollo did want her take on it, so
Yeah, I actually did ask for her opinion on it.
yeah.
Being a white lady, if she feels like those images ever affected
she's
her
not
opinion.
white. That
She
doesn't
ain't
affect
white.
her. She's not white, is she?
Yeah,
Well, you
she'll
know.
get offended if you say that.
Native, well, being viewed as a white person when she's out, she looks like a white person. People be like, "This white lady just came in here." They wouldn't say a Native American lady just came in here.
You're gonna get cut.
Yeah,
She'll mess you up, boy.
she might
Calling
scalp
her a
me
white
when she
lady.
come back.
All right.
Oh, white lady.
I got the video set here, so we're gonna
ahead.
play this.
Yeah, watch this shit.
All right, hang on. Let's see. No, that's not wrong. No, okay. Here we go. Here we go. All right. So you see Maxine Waters on the screen right there. So here's the beginning of the clip.
According to the Los Angeles Times, Waters has become Auntie Maxine on the left, a folk hero beloved for her wisdom and sassy ways. Okay, so here's some actual tape of Auntie Maxine from just the other day describing Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Judge for yourself.
I think that Jeff Sessions is very dangerous. I think he's a racist, and I think that he absolutely believes that it's his job to keep minorities in their place. That he comes from a time and a place in his history where this was the order of the day.
So Maxine Waters is calling someone else a racist, huh? Well, luckily we have long memories on the show, long enough to recall the LA riots of 1992. Do you remember those? 58 people died. Many more were gravely injured, including a man called Reginald Denny. He was a truck driver who happened to be at the wrong intersection at the wrong time, and more than anything, the wrong color. Because of his race, Denny was pulled from his truck and smashed in the head with a cinder block until he sustained brain damage. It was a hate crime if there ever was one. It all happened on videotape. A helicopter caught it, and it happened in Maxine Waters' city. But she did not denounce the attack. On the contrary, she all but endorsed the attack. The leader of the mob that nearly murdered Reginald Denny was called Damian Williams. Now, Maxine Waters visited Damian Williams' mother to offer her support. Williams was sent to prison on a single felony charge of mayhem, but when his accomplices got off, Waters joined in the celebration. Damian Williams was released just a few years later and went on to murder somebody else in 2000. He's still in prison today. But Waters did not learn a thing from the experience. She went on to describe the LA race riots as, quote, a rebellion, and in ways understandable, including apparently the part about smashing people's brains in for being the wrong color. Yep, that's the Democratic Party's new expert on race relations. So we invited Congressman Waters onto the show. We've done it many times. She's never agreed to come on. So instead, we needed someone with a little more bravery, and we found it in Monique Presley. She's an attorney from here in D.C., and she joins us tonight. Monique, thank you for being bold enough to come on.
Oh, it's not that scary.
Yeah, I don't think it is at all. But I'm not saying that Maxine Waters should be in prison. I am saying that given that history, she shouldn't be in Congress. She shouldn't be defended by her colleagues, and she certainly shouldn't be weighing in on race relations. That puts her outside the pale. Endorsing violence that's the line, and she crossed it.
Right. Well, I don't know if we'd have our current president if that was the line.
Has he endorsed racial violence?
Because he's endorsed violence, he's promoted violence, he's promulgated violence from
Really?
his pulpit.
There is, if you can name an instant where the current president had, like, I don't know, that horrible shooter down in South Carolina, if he had visited that guy's family to offer his condolences, that would be, that's just not acceptable in American life. And he's done nothing
just
like that.
Perhaps stood in front of thousands of people and said there was a day when that person would have been taken somewhere and
The South
roughed
Carolina
up.
guy?
I mean, how many different, I was about to call them protests, but they weren't. They were rallies. How many different rallies were there where people were put out for doing what it is their right to do, which is protesting, and we had from then candidate Trump, now President Trump, an insistence upon the fact that the people in the crowd were right to cheer, to want them thrown out. So what I'm saying is that
is your argument
that's
that
not the line.
That's not the line. So it's okay now, is what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying that it's okay. What I'm saying is that you said if a person was willing to support or encourage
Racial violence, yes.
Violence is what you said. That
I'm saying that
then
they
don't deserve to be in
I'm saying
office.
that there are a lot of things that we say that's bigoted, that's racist, whatever, and we can debate what those are. But if you have a person who was nearly murdered simply because of the color of his skin, any color, you can't congratulate that person, in effect. And she did. And so I'm just saying she's gotten away with that for 25 years. That's a very different thing from what you're describing at the Trump rallies. Not my job to defend Trump's statements at those rallies, but it's not even in the same category as what Maxine Waters did.
In your mind.
And my only point is, how can she be a folk hero on the left if she did something like that?
Right. And I guess what I was saying is I don't understand how President Trump can be president of the United States for the many and sundry things that he's done, but our voters are the ones who decide who should
But I'm not talking
and
about
should
voters.
not be in office. So when you're saying how can someone be in office, the answer to that always is that unless
I'm not asking that question.
You're saying
I think
they
that
don't deserve to
Maxine
be in
Waters.
office.
I'm not saying that. I'm
Okay.
not arguing against
But
democracy.
you did say that she didn't deserve to be in office.
I don't think she ought to be in office, but what I really don't think is that she ought to have the adulation or even the cover of her colleagues, fellow Democrats, and I find it inexplicable that she would be held up as some sort of fountain of wisdom on racial matters, much less she'd be allowed to call someone else racist. That's my point.
I don't even know that she's held up as a fountain of wisdom on racism, and that is why people, especially young people, millennials, call her Auntie Maxine. I prefer to call her Congresswoman Waters. But what I'm saying is that the people on the left have reasons. They believe that she is a listener to the issues of the day, and I think that that's correct. And then I also think that she has a right to say what she thinks. And in the clip that you played, she said, I think this, and I think that.
These are straw men, as you know. I'm not contesting anyone's right to say what he or she thinks or to run for office or be elected. Obviously, I'm not a liberal, so therefore I believe in free speech and democracy. But let me just ask, again, a really simple question. We're at a moment of maximum political tension where people are really starting to hate each other. I think we're moving toward like a real separation in this country.
You think we're moving toward
I do
one?
think that. I do
from
think that.
where?
I think things are getting too intense, is my point. Here's the point I'm
making. Were they less intense
to say
200 years ago?
Look,
were they less intense 100 years ago?
Things are bad right now.
In the
and
60s,
for someone
were
like
they less
Maxine
intense?
Waters, see what you're doing is
In the 90s.
you're saying, you know what, Pol Pot killed a lot of people, therefore I'm not going to condemn this. Simply because something else was bad doesn't mean that we don't have the right to describe what we're watching as bad. And I'm saying to call the Attorney General as a racist with no evidence is insane.
You can describe it as bad, but I'm actually listening to what you're saying. And what you said is that we're moving towards something. And I think that if you look at the continuum of our history, that's just not true.
Okay. If we could end the history lecture really quick. Look, we could debate this, and I think it's a valid question. My only point is, look, things are getting super intense, and it's bad. It's bad for the country, and at some point, people are going to get hurt if it doesn't decelerate. And she's adding to it.
That's true. I think what things are getting is vocalized. I think that people who were once marginalized and oppressed now have a voice, and they're using it, and the manner in which they use it, whether on the right or on the left, is a way that offends some. I think that it would be
racist
nice.
at somebody, which is the new motif on the left, is not a discussion. You're not adding to the
I don't
the sum
think, I
total
don't
of
think
anything, you're
racism
detracting.
is new. I think calling someone a racist when they are one may be new, and that there was a time when people who were treated
This
disproportionately
is just getting
negatively
too stupid.
because of
I'm
their
sorry.
color.
Look, it's too irresponsible to just run around and say, to cast blood libel on people without evidence. That's all I'm saying.
It's not blood libel,
Yes,
and
it
it's not
is.
lacking in evidence. If you look at the comments she made about Attorney General Sessions,
Yeah.
they weren't based on zero evidence. I think that racism, if you look at it by definition, it's determined not by what your private thoughts are, by what your public actions are. So when you look at someone just since he's been Attorney General,
I can't even.
Texas voter
look,
ID laws,
That's a totally
immigration.
You know what?
We're
I think
talking
I'm
about
rising to your.
racism.
I think I'm rising to your bait because the things you're saying are so false, and I guess I'm just too caught up in this
responding,
whole like
Tucker.
linear detail thing. The Texas,
Facts.
the
Pesky
Texas
facts.
ID controversy
The minute he gets in office, he puts
has
a halt
nothing to
it.
do with race.
Has
There's
nothing
no
to
way to
do
back
with-
up what you just said.
Except
it's just
for
false.
that the courts, 4 different ones, and then finally found not just
If you
discriminatory
break down the numbers,
effect,
it's
but
a lie.
discriminatory intent.
It's a
well,
lie.
if the courts got it wrong, I support them.
They did, and they can't support
Okay,
it with the numbers.
well, I
And
guess
we
we'll,
did the numbers on
we'll
the show.
find out in the Supreme
All
Court.
right. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it.
I was glad to be here.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
she
she killed him.
She undressed him, but you see, this is what they do in the media, especially the right media, the right wing
Right-wing,
nutball,
not
yeah.
the right. Don't put right in it.
Yeah,
You
I
gotta
was,
put
I was
wing in
playing
it.
on words.
Yeah. The alt-right.
But yeah, so she undressed him, and he kept going back to trying to discredit everything that she said with no fact, foundation, or backup to other than that's not true. That's not true.
Oh yeah,
But
and,
see,
then she would hit him with facts, and he'd say that's totally false. No, it's
Exactly.
not. Four courts have already said it's not false. Well, the courts were wrong. Okay, well the courts are here to defend the Constitution. That's all they're here to do.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
obviously they have law degrees, and how are they wrong?
I wanted to come in. There's some new breaking news in Maryland. I think it's Maryland. There's been a very bad bus accident that's overturned.
It's what type of bus was it? Was it
It sounds like it was carrying children.
a school bus?
Says 26
bus.
children
They'd
and
get down
four,
early if it
four
was.
adults on board that overturned on Maryland Interstate.
That's,
Could have been a field trip. It's that time
Yeah.
of the year.
Yeah, that's true. Well, let's hope it the kids are okay. You know, overturned bus doesn't sound good though.
Well, they say
No,
there's more than
absolutely
2
not.
dozen injured in this bus crash.
Oh,
Hopefully no deaths. I hope it's just injuries.
yeah, exactly.
You know, I got to have my seatbelt on in my car, but you can put 100 kids in a bus and everything's fine. No seatbelt
Yeah,
requirement
why
on
do
school
they not
buses.
have seatbelts on school buses?
Because when it overturns, they just flip to they just
Well, that's
roll
what
all
I'm
around in
saying,
there.
but they don't have them, and that bothers
Because
me.
it's not about our safety. It's just about writing a ticket. Because if it was about our safety, motorcycles would be illegal.
Oh my God! Don't even get me going on motorcycles.
Oh, they must have been going on a field trip. It said 26 children were on it. 3 chaperones and a driver on board the bus.
Yep.
And they were from a
Three
school.
what now?
Chaperones.
3 chaperones, a driver, and they were from a school in Philadelphia. At least 2 victims have suffered injuries that required them to be flown to hospitals.
That sounds pretty serious. Well,
I'm sorry to hear that.
we'll pray for those
Absolutely.
kids and the people who were injured and those who were not.
Yes.
Just at this point, they're probably frightened to death as well.
Trump signed an executive order that requires seatbelts in all school buses. Can you do that, please?
No, it costs too much money.
Yeah, he puts it on other stuff. But the other thing, remember I told you about the woman that met the guy on Instagram? They have a whole video on it now. But I don't know why these young girls would date somebody anyway on Instagram. You're not sure who they are. And why would you get drunk with them? That's where she made the mistake. I mean, he's got videos with them getting drunk, and there's videos getting into an elevator at a hotel. But I don't know where sometimes minds think. But I guess when I was real young, I did stupid shit too.
Yeah, well, I picked up 2 girls last night way up in the, I guess it was the Hollywood. What's that section when you get off of Sunset Boulevard and you go up Queens? You know that street? And it's a real winding road that goes all the way up into the hills. I guess
Is it
that's
Silver Lake?
no. Right off of Hollywood down there by near the Comedy Store, right up
Oh,
in that
that's
area.
just like Beechwood area.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, they have horses up there now.
No, I don't think there were horses up there unless they were goats.
No, I mean they have a ride where you can rent horses up in that area.
okay.
I'm not saying it's on that street.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I went up Queens and went winding. It took me 14 minutes to get up there. And when I get there, the person that was, or people that I was supposed to pick up weren't, standing outside. So I waited about 3.5 minutes and I called. And this girl answered the phone. She goes, "Hello?" I said, "Hi, this is your Uber driver. I'm not sure which address you're at because it gave me like a 4279-4288. So I think I'm in the right place or pretty close to you." "Okay, we'll be down in a minute. But there's a guy here, and we're trying to leave." And I'm going, "What?" "Okay, well, I'm sitting outside." And then she came out, and she was pretty intoxicated. And she had a phone. She says, "My friend is in there, and this guy, I don't think he wants her to leave, but she wants to leave." I said, "Well, tell her, come get in the car, and let's roll." So she goes, "Well, let me go back in and see if I can get it. But I'm going to keep the phone open, okay?" I said, "Oh, shit, what is this all about?" I said, "Is there something violent going on in there, or is she being held against her will?" I said, "Maybe you don't need an Uber. Maybe you need the police." She said, "Well, just stay on the line with me." She's whispering, right? So she goes in, and I hear her talking. She says, "Come on, let's go. The Uber car is here, and we need to go." And I didn't hear any voices responding. I went, "Oh, what is this?"
I would have U-turned and left.
Well, I became concerned for the safety of her and her friend. And I said, is there somebody else? How many guys are there?" She said, "Just one." I said, "Okay, well, get your friend and walk out of there. Let's go." So she eventually got this girl somewhat coherent. I think she had passed out. And she got her to, she came down. The first girl that I was talking to came down first. And she said, "Okay, she's on her way." And then there's a glass window, one of those foggy kind of glass windows next to the door. And I see two images there, and they're kissing and all that. I said, "Okay, well, maybe it's not so bad." So she stumbled on out and got in the car. Before we went, not even a quarter of a mile, this girl had passed out in the back seat, the second girl. So, but the reason I'm telling you this story is whether you're meeting people on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever, you don't know who these people really are. And apparently they met in a bar, and the guy brought them up there to his house. And obviously, he wanted to make out. Well, one girl didn't want to go down that road, and the other girl was so intoxicated she may have. I don't know whether she had sex with the guy or not. But I feel good to the point that I got him out of there. Not that I'm trying to be Superman, and I wouldn't go but so far with that whole situation. I probably would have called 911 myself because it sounded like it was getting a little out of hand. But ladies, when you are out at a bar and somebody tries to get you to go with them, and this is the first time you've ever met, and he wants to take you to his house, what do you think is going to go down? What do you think that he wants to do to you? Okay? So young ladies, these girls were from South Carolina, in Los Angeles, the big con city of all places, where the most creepiest people you could ever run across, maybe other than New York. But when you get drunk, go home. I pick up young ladies all the time from bars, and they come out of the bar by themselves with a trail of guys hitting on them, trying to get them to go their way, and they get in my Uber car, and I take them home safely. That's what you need to do. Go have a good time, but go home. Don't go home with some creepy guy that, keep buying you drinks. Why do you think they're buying you drinks? To get you drunk so they can take the advantage of you. Then you claim rape. legitimately in most cases.
I'm gonna do that next time I'm in a casino and they give me drinks all night and take all my money. I'm gonna tell them I got robbed.
Yeah, you could try that. It ain't gonna work.
They got me drunk and took advantage of me.
You could try it. I'm sure somebody has tried
I don't know
that
if
before.
anybody's ever challenged that.
I don't know. That's why they give you the free drinks.
Yeah. So you get drunk and
And
keep
stay
gambling.
there all night long.
No
Absolutely.
clocks on the wall.
No windows.
No windows.
Nope.
They put aromas into the air, scents that release pleasure endorphins,
Yeah,
and they recycle the air every 8 minutes.
exactly. So be careful, young ladies. And if you're a guy, just cut that out.
Stop that shit.
Yeah, man, come on. Man, the
Yeah, I
hell
don't
up.
understand it because it's probably one of
not
the
that
easiest
serious.
things to get nowadays.
Get her number, date her, get to know each other. And if you're in that big of a hurry just to get your you know what on, then you know what? Maybe you just need to go buy a hooker or something. I don't know what to
Yeah, get
tell you
you a-
about that.
Get you a whore.
Consenting, and she's not drunk.
Exactly. Right.
So, what do you consider a whore? Because there's a lot of people that they don't consider that, and these girls go out every week and pick up a different man and
Well,
sleep with them. Is that a whore?
Yeah, that's a hoe.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. What would you call her?
A slut.
Is that
Because it,
different than
it
a whore?
bothers me because there's girls
same
that
thing.
make money selling it, but they don't call these girls that go out at night and pick up a different guy all the time and screw them.
Right.
So I can never figure that one out.
Well, I don't know if is it what you want to call them.
I mean, is the man a whore?
Yeah.
He's one
He's
too,
hoeing.
then.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a man whore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's no different.
I mean, it's
And
very funny the way life is right now. Is people are very open with sex, which I
Yeah.
don't understand.
I've heard young ladies in their 20s, calling each other up on the phone and talking and they say, yeah, girl, let's go to the bar because I'm going to get me some tonight. But that's the same conversation I've heard guys say. So they're both the same.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, the hunt is on.
yeah, and the hunt and the hope is maybe those two mindsets meet in the bar and they get it on.
Why does everything that feels good, religion tells us it's sinful? Everything that feels good or is pleasurable is going to send you to hell.
Well, to me, a lot of your biggest hypocrites sit in church every Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
So I laugh at
Yeah.
that one.
And
too.
in
I-
Congress
yeah.
every day.
Yeah, I laugh at people and they go, oh, if you just pray, it's okay. Okay, so you can go out the night before and you kill somebody. But as long as you pray to God, I guess it's okay. Because prayer isn't always okay
I aim
for
to
what
screw
you
you.
do.
Or the deacon comes in on Sunday morning and smells like he just left the bar.
Well, he did left the Sundown Club. His suit still
Or
smelled like
he's
chicken
pulling
grease.
up in
Yeah.
his Rolls Royce that you're paying for.
Hey, we used to have a club called the Sundown in my hometown, down a dirt road. You couldn't lie about where you'd been because you had that grease smell on your clothes. But I saw deacons from my church in there on Saturday, and they were a hell of a lot happier with the women they were sitting on their lap on Saturday than the ones that was sitting next to them in church on Sunday.
thank
That's
you.
that's for damn sure.
In the
Well,
church say amen.
That's how you do it.
It's like I said to somebody this morning, we were talking and something that was done, and I said, such an evil prayer. Well, if you pray and you get over it because I said, wait a minute. When I went to church, we were told about Satan and God. I go, and Satan's a powerful person or whatever he is. I go, so you're telling me it's okay, as long as you're praying. But I go, Satan does exist, and it's getting worse and worse with Satan. I see more and more.
How do you know that?
Because I see all the evilness, like a guy walking into a store this morning with a head.
Yeah. I mean, he could just be mentally ill.
Mean things, somebody being deceitful to a person.
Yeah.
To me, what?
Yeah,
Because you
I
say a
believe good
prayer
and
the
evil is
night
inside
before,
of us.
it's okay for you to be
Oh, yes.
deceitful to somebody? No, it's not okay.
We all have the potential to be that way.
So
though.
that's what
It's-
I'm trying to tell you, Apollo. Is somebody made a statement to me, as long as you pray to God, it's okay what people do. No, it not okay
No,
what
it's
they
not.
do.
No, hell no.
And not everything is acceptable. I'm not going to accept everything because
Thank
when
you.
people say, "Well, everything happens in God's world for a reason," and God allows it. God don't allow a 2-year-old to get raped and have her head cut off and buried in the backyard. That God didn't allow that to happen. That was man's will.
Right.
And sometimes God, I think we can't. I don't even know who or what God is. I don't know who our Creator is. I have certain faiths and I follow certain belief systems, but I don't think God is responsible. God doesn't allow evil things to happen.
No, and you shouldn't be able to just say, well, just say a prayer and it's forgiven. No, it's not
No.
forgiven.
No, well, that's an easy fix with certain people. I mean, don't get me wrong.
That's-
I don't knock anybody's religion.
I'm not
but
either,
what happens
but that's
is
what
that
they said to me.
That's Catholic.
Yeah.
yeah, well, don't get me wrong. Like I said before, people do have their things. What we're talking about the managing of free will. That's what it's all about between all of us. We can't always blame God for our mistakes. We have to take our responsibilities for what we do in our actions. So it's easy to put on somebody else.
How about
It's easy to put it on God.
when does common sense kick in?
It doesn't exist.
You know, because
I think his new album's coming out soon.
no, that's common.
Oh, I love Common.
Oh, okay. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I think he's so cute.
That was his name at one point.
You know, God is good, orderly direction.
What,
and
common
it's,
sense
and
was
it's an
his name?
acronym.
But it doesn't
common
give a
sense.
person to just say, well, as long as they don't do it again or they're praying, it's okay. No, it isn't okay.
No.
It isn't okay
I go to church
be
because
deceitful.
I don't believe everything in that book is a biographical fact.
Well, he didn't
but I
write
believe
that
it's a
book.
parable. I think there are some parables in there that I can infuse into my being, my spirit being, that will allow me to interact with the world healthier for me and hopefully healthier for those I come in contact with.
And once again, don't get me wrong. When people who want to make a conversion to go into religion, I'm all for it. I'm pro that. What happens, unfortunately, with people that I know, become fanatic, like over. Like I give you a perfect example. I had a friend of mine who got saved years ago and became, involved in the church and was Baptist. So she comes back to me, oh, Chris, I'm shiny and new. I'm
Got a
not
witness.
shiny. Yeah, shiny and new. I'm like, well, that's great for you and what you believe in. And then all of a sudden she's going to get on me about my atrocities, quote unquote, and me sinning. I'm like, with all due respect, you just got saved 2 weeks ago. I mean, don't get me wrong. God bless your ministries, but you can't, risk me with, brimstone and fire. You just got started on your path. But some people just come to a point where, don't get me wrong, I understand about salvation, but I'll get there in time. And if I don't get there in time, I'm not a bad person. And some people just get to a point where, from my experiences, where it's like fanaticism. I think that, what you do with your religion is your business, but sometimes it crosses the line where they point the finger at you and not understanding your trial and your own tribulations and your road.
Overnight holy rollers.
Oh, my
Yeah, because
God.
I had a friend. She used to always date someone else's husband, and she was really terrible. And she became a Jehovah Witness, and she just
ringing
thought all of a
people's
sudden she
doorbells.
started preaching like everything she did was perfect. But when she left her, she went right back to the same thing. And
My
it's
daughter
like,
said there's a guy that stands on her college campus and yells at the kids at Appalachian State. He told my daughter because she had some shorts on that she was going to hell.
Oh, I can't
And I'm
stand
like,
those people.
What did you say to him? She said, I told him I'll save you a seat when I get there.
Good for her.
Say, look me up. I'll be there because that's where you're going.
Yeah.
Also, yep. Yeah. See, you got all kind of fanatics out there, and I don't believe in any of them.
Yeah, they're full of it.
I'm disappointed and not motivated to join a church again.
Right.
I because there's so many pimps in the pulpit that I just can't get down with that. I try to apply common sense and say, okay, what is this person really talking about? What do they stand for? What are they promoting? And you look at these big mega churches. They got the big, beautiful buildings, coliseums, not just a nice church,
yeah.
but just huge places.
And you
20,
pay to
30.
sit,
Joel
pay
Osteen's
to
got the
sit in a better
Astrodome.
spot.
Yeah, I'm not doing none of that
There
shit.
you go.
I ain't gonna
But
do
then
it.
there's small
When you go to
churches that
church
are
and have
different.
30,000 people, that's a concert. That's not church.
You know?
When you have church in the
Yeah.
old Astrodome, that's not church.
No. See,
That was the stadium that the old Houston Rockets played.
Right.
that's right. Yeah.
And Joel Osteen bought it, and he has church in it every Sunday. Isn't that great?
Living large on the on the
Smiling,
people.
always smiling.
The
grace
smiling
of God
preacher.
on my Bentley.
See, a
can't
church
get
shouldn't
down
be
with
a
that.
business, and that's what a lot of them are.
If the after the expenses of running the operation of the church, the rest of the money should go back to the people, and I don't see that happening.
I agree with
You
you.
know, buying airplanes and boats and Bentleys and Mercedes and all that crazy stuff for the pastor, the preacher man. I can't get with that. Jesus wasn't that way.
Well, you know, being a Mormon
That's right.
before, which I know y'all think's a cult,
Well, all of them are cults.
they do help you out. You pay your tithing, but
They
say
give you some groceries.
no,
They will.
No, I was a Mormon.
My wife was
You
a Mormon
lose your
before I married
house,
her.
they will come in and help. When my mother died, they stepped right in there. When my brother died 6 months before my mother, and when they were there. They were there. Money that you put in there was given back to you. They will help you with a car. And there's things I don't like about being a Mormon. When I was one, they teach you to have so much faith, which a lot of churches are guilty of this, because I hear my own friends talk this, and it's like, you have so much faith that you believe bad things can't happen. Because when my brother died, I went to the bishop. I wanted to know, why did my brother die? I don't do bad things. I want to know why my brother died. But they couldn't answer that because they taught me to have this faith. Then my mother died 6 months later. It's like, what is going on? So
Yeah.
it's like I tell people, you can put all your faith in God, but you can't put it all there. You have to realize things do happen. And you sure, prayer can help to a degree in that, but
Now, Carol-
you got to get out there and
Carol.
work for these things.
Carol, that was God's will, and you can't question that.
They didn't say that to me. They couldn't answer that.
Well, you didn't go to a Baptist church.
So I left the Mormon church because of that.
That's right.
I
They're
left
the ones
them.
that pray for the Catholics.
Yeah.
Now I will go to a smaller church where they're renting a space maybe or something, but I'm not going to go to one of those big businesses like we have here. I'm not going to pay a certain amount of money so I can sit in the front row or I don't have to be in the balcony. I mean, everything's changing because
Yeah.
I went to the movie yesterday and I was shocked. When we got there, they had this special section. So I said to the
The VIP
wow.
section.
yeah, and I said to the man, well, what is that? He said, well, you get to sit up there, and it's a private thing, and we give free popcorn.
It
And I
depends
said,
on your tithing,
so-
tithing level.
This was at a movie.
Yeah.
This was at a movie, mind you. And he said, you get free popcorn. And I said,
Oh, wow.
wow. Am I going to eat that?
Overpriced popcorn.
So how much more is it?
That's great.
Yeah. Oh, that
But it
justifies it.
cracked me up because we were
And
sitting
how much
in
were
the
the
normal
tickets?
spot. I had tickets from American Express, so it was more money if I wanted it. And I started to, and then I looked at my daughter and we thought about it. Well, what the heck? Now you pay VIPs in the balcony?
Yeah.
I said, how much more is going to change? Now we have a thing.
That was in a movie theater or a church?
A movie theater.
Movie theater.
Oh, well, I agree with that.
Now
if you
we
want to
have
pay extra.
Now we have the LAX. They've started this our
The airport?
airport. They have a special section for the rich. You go to and they drive you to the airports to your plane, so you don't have to deal with the normal people. You know,
I think you should always. I think different levels of service have always been.
I don't
in
feel
anything.
like that. I think people should all
Well,
be treated the same. Maybe you
No,
sit
I mean,
in a
if you want to
different
pay a little
seat.
extra to sit, then there should be no
Not at a
VIP. There should be
movie
no first
theater-
class in an
theater.
airplane or.
Not at a movie theater. You can go and pick
Yeah,
your
I think
seat.
if you want to reserve,
I
if you
don't
want to
agree
reserve a
with it.
seat,
I don't agree with
then you
that.
buy tickets
I'm
to a
sorry.
concert. You pay extra to be in the front
You
row.
pay a
you
lot
pay
of extra
$10.
now. You pay thousands of dollars to sit in different seats at concerts now.
Well, that's their money.
Yeah,
They can do what they
that's
want
their
to
I'm
do.
sorry.
prerogative.
I'm
Right.
not going to go to a movie theater and have somebody sitting above me because they think they're better than everybody else that's sitting below.
It used to be they put black folk above you in the balcony, and so
I don't agree
now they're
with
charging
all that.
extra.
Send the colors.
They've
What
gentrified
are
the movie
they,
theater
What are
now.
they soon
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
do? Like a movie that was out, we seen maybe 2 years ago, where all of a sudden they put up walls and the rich live on one side of the wall and we live on the other. Because
Well, it's
that's
already
where
that way.
that's where it's
They're
happening.
called gated communities.
No, you can't. In California, I live in a gated community, but that was years ago. They built that.
Well, see, you ought to move into projects and support. You put your money where your mouth is.
Well, I wouldn't move in the projects because I make too much money for them to let me live there.
No, it's
No,
okay
that's
for you
not
to live
true.
in a gated
I lived in the
community, but-
projects as a child. So believe me, I'm just talking reality. This
Yeah.
might be funny to you, but it's not funny to me.
No, I'm
don't
saying
think-
I don't have a
No,
problem
no,
with
let me
people paying a
finish.
little
I
extra.
don't think money makes anybody better than anybody else.
I think we all agree on that.
I'm sorry, you
Yeah,
know.
I do too.
Why? Because you make
Yeah.
more money than me. You think that you should have a
I don't know that I
private
do. You
entrance
might
to
make more than
everything.
me.
well, the problem with that,
I'm against it because the
well,
whole
Carol,
world is
but-
becoming all about
Then tear your
fucking
gate
greed.
down at your
Excuse
community.
my
Take the
language.
gate
But
down.
no,
Yeah, that's,
Greed.
that's an
No,
attitude.
it ain't about
though.
the gate, though.
That's
It's
an
about
attitude.
No,
greed.
hold up, guys.
It's greed.
Here's the reality. The reason these things exist is because people are willing to pay for it, because they want to feel special. They want to feel like, hey, I'm in a better section of the theater,
The
or I'm in a
balcony
better
is
section.
the better section now. It used to be not.
I'm not justifying it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you why.
No, I agree with you saying.
and we live in a world of capitalism.
Greed.
Capitalism, and as long as people are willing to pay for extra, it's going to be
Right.
there. It's going to be there. It's just like when I'm out there
That's right.
driving Uber, when I see the guys in the SUVs and the black cars, people are willing to pay for that luxury,
Right.
for that
That's
extra, that special. And so the theater industry was sucking wind, just like the music industry. So they had to figure out something different to attract people
Right.
to come into the theaters. So they said, okay, let's do a VIP, let's do a special thing. Let's charge $50 a ticket, and
Right.
and then we'll bring them food to them.
And
Not
give
free.
them a recliner to
Yeah,
sit in.
give them a recliner,
Recliner
to sit
seats,
in.
correct, right?
They have that here. You can pay extra,
Yeah.
get a recliner seat and a cup
Yep.
holder.
Oh,
and-
see, we have that here, but it's
Yeah.
because it's an adult theater. They don't allow kids, and you don't
Oh,
pay
they
that
have
much
sex in there?
extra. I'm talking about
And porn.
you literally now can go up above.
Box seats.
And I
yeah,
thought
the
about
box
it.
seats. It's like at a coliseum.
Actually,
you can get box seats at a basketball
I
game.
started to pay for it,
Correct.
and I said, "What the heck? I don't want to sit up there anyway."
The movie's not going to look any different.
I
Well,
like-
any
don't
better.
be mad because
Yeah.
people paid extra to
I-
have a little
I'm
more
not
elbow
mad.
room.
I'm looking at how greed is getting worse and worse,
Well,
and it's frightening.
Well, it's that way in everything.
I
You
mean,
can go to
I
McDonald's
was
and buy a
reading,
cheeseburger for $1, but you can't get a double Whopper for $1.
I was reading the other day, like Venice. Venice has always been an area out here where it was for maybe lower income and middle income.
Yeah.
Well, the wealthy have started buying it up. Well, this is
Yeah,
what
it's
I'm
oceanfront
But
property.
I'm enjoying. It's
Right,
not oceanfront. They're doing it up and down the streets
Hello.
in Venice. It
Well,
used to be.
yeah.
I grew up in Venice, so it's like
I
it
thought
was.
you grew up in Montana.
I came out here very young. For once, let me talk without you interfering me.
go
In
ahead,
other words,
Carol.
shut
Interfering
the F
you.
up.
Don't get defensive. Just
So
just
what
talk.
I'm trying to say,
Well, I
in
mean, you
Venice
said you
now,
grew up in Montana.
and this
I'm just
doesn't-
asking.
This
I thought I
doesn't
was
bother
crazy.
me that in Venice,
You are.
because now they're stepping outside these wealthy people, and guess what? Because we have certain laws here
Mm-hmm.
where the homeless, you can't just make a move unless you live in Culver City, where you're not part of LA. They're now coming outside of their houses, and guess what? The homeless have set up tents, and they're pooping right out on their sidewalk, and they can't stop this. But you went in their areas where these people could afford to live before you started tripling and quadrupling the rent on them, and now they can they can't afford to live places. We've made more and more people homeless in California because of what rents have come to now. They don't want to hire the wages. I have clients at businesses, oh, I don't want to pay $15 an hour. No, but you own buildings and you want people to pay $2,200 and $2,500 for a studio. To live in the marina now, you better pay $3,500 a month and up. So they're putting people out. And now in California, we have so many homeless people because they cannot afford to rent. We don't have enough affordables. We don't have enough Section 8s.
You have U-Haul. I mean, you have Greyhound out there, though, right?
What has that got to do
and a
with
lot of
not
people-
having
I'm
money?
saying if I was living somewhere and rent had gotten outrageous and I couldn't afford it, I would get on a bus and go somewhere where I could afford it.
You just don't get up
That's-
and pack up. You have all your stuff here.
Well,
I mean, I
You
would.
know,
That's
you
that's
would.
just what I would do.
You
If-
would.
If I couldn't afford to live somewhere, I would
No,
get
it
online
don't-
at
it
the
doesn't-
library,
it
which
doesn't
is
work.
free,
It
and I would
doesn't
find out
work
where's
like
there
that.
opportunity for me
It
in this
doesn't
country.
work like that. You go.
It has to work that
rents
way.
are going up everywhere.
yeah, a lot of the people though that I see out on the streets and living in these tents and what have you, some of them have some kind of mental.
They do.
issues.
Remember when we
Yeah.
went downtown?
A lot
Most
of
of those
them do.
people were mental,
and
and it was
and they
sad.
probably can't process, to the same level that you and I or some other people might be able to reason and use
So they
common
weren't
sense.
homeowners to begin with. But she
Probably.
was talking about people who got
Some-
put out of
No,
their house.
these people
Probably
were
not.
homeowners in Venice. Venice
Maybe.
was
We're
the
talking
area
about the
at the
schizophrenics are
beach.
sleeping in tents on the street.
Yeah, you have that, but in Venice, it was an area for people that weren't super rich. And,
mean,
but
there
it's
were
like
times when-
it's like I keep saying, the greedy is taking over, and that's a very small percentage who has all this money.
And the bottom line
I'm
to
watching
that,
clients that don't have billions of dollars. All of a sudden, they're being brought down. A lot of them are losing their businesses. They're using their. I have doctors that are my clients. They're losing their practices. This has got to stop. The greed. It's just too greedy any longer.
and it's a combination
not
of
gonna
things
stop.
that's going on. Venice. Talking about Venice, that area. You're right. I mean, they were kind of like the '60s generation. A lot of those homes are small, little bungalows, and if you're not right on the ocean, when you go back 2 or 3 blocks, there were small places and they were affordable.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, Malibu is outrageous. Santa Monica is outrageous. Venice is the next town coming down, going south on the ocean. Then you got Marina del Rey, Playa del Rey, and
Manhattan Beach.
Manhattan Beach,
Hermosa.
El Segundo, and all of those places. So going south down the
I
ocean.
left my wallet there.
Exactly. So it's just the fact of the matter is it's still oceanfront property. You're right there on the ocean, and people who can afford to or want to be there can afford to come in and buy up those places. A lot of times they're going to tear them down and build nicer places. It's happening all over. And it's unfortunate because the original people that were there in the 50s and 60s, they can't afford to stay there anymore.
It's like here they
Yeah.
tore down Earl Village projects. Some
Yeah.
of the projects downtown Charlotte, Earl Village, been there for 30, 40 years.
Right.
When they built the Panthers Stadium, they started tearing the projects down and relocating and telling people you got to relocate you or spread you out because this real estate's worth more money now. People, I've been living in these projects for 42 years. My grandmother lived in them, my mother lived in them, and now I'm in them. Okay, I wouldn't be broadcasting that on TV. You've been in the projects before. That means you have not evolved. That means you have been sitting in public housing for 40 years. Do not be proud of that. You are handicapped. As long as you can get up and do better, because I see people who came here from Honduras 15 years ago, and now they're school teachers and nurses and paralegals. So don't sit and justify that you're mad because they're tearing down your project.
It's a mindset.
I mean, you got
That's just like,
Well, that's not
well,
always
yeah, as
true.
everywhere. I
I'm-
mean, this is like
that's
here in
not
Chicago. You
always
had like
true.
the Ida B. Wells homes. You also had like
Cabrini Green.
which were homes for years, for black folk. And then all of a sudden, the regentrification of the neighborhoods is literally night and day. If I showed you pictures of how they used to look to where it looks now, it's literally night and day difference.
Right.
You wouldn't recognize it.
Totally.
And before gentrification, there was atrophication of people's ability to get out here and work. I mean, they developed an atrophy.
These
to
people
their,
in Venice work. They don't make big amounts of money. It was
I see
their
it in
area.
Charlotte, the old Cherry community. People are losing their homes because the property. You got elderly people who are losing their homes because they can't afford the property taxes.
Oh,
It's-
so you
it's
think
sickening.
that's okay?
No, I don't think it's okay. And a few of them have been grandfathered in, and thank God some city council people have gone in, and some nonprofits have worked it out where they can pay their taxes. You know, because you got a couple shotgun houses sitting next to a mansion because they've come in and built these big, huge houses. And I mean,
out
but
here,
you really own nothing in the game of Monopoly. When the game's over, you put the board up, and nothing is yours. It's only temporarily yours.
But out here, you see so many older people that have had to go to the streets now because of this crap.
Was that their only option? I guess
That
is
was
my
their
question.
home.
Yeah, but he's
It was
asking
their
about
home.
their
Why did they
options.
lose it?
A lot of them. Well, a lot of taxes don't go up out here. If you
I
don't
mean,
show a bunch of
I've literally
improvement.
been homeless
It's like
before,
I could
but
rent,
it was very temporary.
I could rent my place for
I slept in my car
$4,500
before.
tomorrow, if I wanted to.
But I didn't stay in my car.
Well, you know, there's a 1,000 reasons why things are the way they are.
Yeah, I mean, you got to come up with like $8,000 to move in somewhere.
Yeah.
Some of these people can't come up with that,
That's true.
so that's why they're
Yeah,
out
but-
there in the streets.
But they don't have to stay there.
Sometimes
stay
they have
somewhere you
no
can't afford to
choice,
live?
Apollo, out here, it's outrageous what's going on.
I know, so get out of there.
But it's
I
the
don't-
same everywhere, though, Carol.
Yeah, it
really
is the same
Yeah,
everywhere.
it is, and it's you know, I remember when
It's really
Downtown-
not, Dennis. It's not that way.
Down-
anywhere.
Actually, Santa Monica, though, Lee, has one of the best rent controls.
well, that's good. Downtown America was a place where most white people lived, and when the suburbs blew up, they moved to the suburbs. Black people moved into downtown. Now it's flipping again. Places like Detroit, it's upscale. All of those warehouses and
That's
places
here,
like
too.
they've renovated those places. Now they're very, very expensive. So people that moved out of the city of Detroit are moving back in now for a variety of reasons. It's been
the
upgraded.
property values downtown are
Totally.
skyrocketing.
Totally. And so it's just a cycle that we go through in life. And as things are improved, people who can afford it will gravitate to that. And, you know, my thing is go into places like Cleveland and Detroit if you want to live in that.
Yeah.
I don't, but go in there and buy up some of those homes that you can buy for $10,000 or less and fix them up,
Right.
rent them out, flip them.
Hey, look at the Great Depression when people lost everything, and I think we've gotten fat and lazy because you go back to the Depression, people hopped in their car, put whatever belongings they had, and started driving west, and they were trying to find opportunity. They didn't stay there; they lost
Sure.
everything.
Sure.
And some of them stopped in St. Louis, some of them made it all the way to California, but a lot of people migrated until they could find an opportunity to rebuild their life.
Sure.
It's nobody's responsibility to rebuild your life if you lose something except your own.
Yep. When I moved to St. Louis, you know, when I was asked people, are you originally from here? Well, yeah, I am, but my mother and father came from Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee. And I said, well, why did they come here? Well, you know, to make more money. There were factories here, and there was other opportunities. When I was in Chicago, I heard the same thing. A lot of the first generation or second generation people in Detroit are from the South. People in New York, a lot of them Southerners. So you migrate to opportunities. I did the same thing. Well, I went from Virginia, Norfolk, to St. Louis, to Atlanta, to New York, to San Francisco, chasing opportunities to better myself and make more money for my family. That's the cycle that we go through.
That's right.
And I knew that if I wanted to stay in radio and stay in Virginia, I was going to be limited to the amount of money that I could make. And I bet you right now in Norfolk, radio probably, I'm going to guess, maybe make $50,000, $60,000. What do you think, Apollo?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
make sense?
for a DJ,
Yeah.
yeah, that's probably afternoon drive. I would say 50, 60 is accurate.
Right.
PD is going to make 80, maybe 100.
that's amazing. I wouldn't have thought that much. But let's say that you're more in tune to it than I am in that location, because I've been.
Well, it
out
depends on who
since
owns
73.
it too. It also
Yeah.
depends on the owner.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
when I was in Chicago as a PD, I was making more money. I was making morning show jock, successful morning show jock money.
Morning
As
Joe,
a-
you've been watching too
Yeah.
much in the MSNBC.
Right. I haven't watched. Wait a minute. Now, is Joe and what's her name, Mika, are they getting
Yeah.
married?
Yeah. Hmm.
What?
Yeah, that's what I heard. I don't watch it, but I saw.
Yeah,
that
I
they
don't.
were-
I haven't watched
yeah.
that show in a long time either. But to digress, the reason I moved was to find a bigger opportunity, better jobs. And when I tell people all the time when they get in my car, they say, "Are you from here?" I said, "No, I'm from a lot of places." They said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, I was born in Virginia, but I've lived all over the country." I said, "Like where?" When I start going through the cities, I go New York, D.C., Norfolk, Charlotte, Atlanta, Miami area, Houston, St. Louis, Chicago, San Francisco, and L.A., and I say in several of those places multiple times. This is the fourth time I've lived in L.A., lived in San Francisco 3 times, Chicago, what was it, 2 or 3 times? 3 times, New York twice, D.C. twice, Charlotte once, Atlanta once, and Miami once. So, and Houston. So, why? Because I wanted more. It wasn't about greed, but also I was in high demand. People were calling and offering me jobs. What was I supposed to do? Say, no, I'm cool in Charlotte. I'm good. No, I wasn't good. I wanted more. I wanted more opportunities. I wanted a bigger challenge. And it wasn't about greed. People say, well, you made a lot of money, Lee. Yeah, because I worked hard and I earned it. There's nobody give it to me. I bust my ass. I spent 20 hours a day trying to be good at what I was doing and really dig into
and
it.
you know what? You still work hard.
I do. That's all I know. That's how
It's
I
like
know.
I sat with the client and we're talking to a woman. She sold one company for $100 million, another, and she says to me, "Well, you got to quit helping your kids." I go, "I only help them when they need help." She said, "Well, you can't." I said, "Well, wait a minute. What do your kids do? Let's see, you got 3. They get like $10 million a year in a trust account. What do they do? If they weren't getting this from you, what do they do that they're creating for society?
Mm-hmm.
They do nothing. They don't work. They get a new house all the time with their money.
Mm-hmm.
So how are you going to compare your kid to my kid who has to work his ass off and my daughter who works her ass off? How are you sitting here comparing them and telling me I shouldn't help them once in a while? You help yours all the time. They've
And
never
gave you
worked,
unsolicited advice.
never
which is
worked a day
ridiculous.
in their life, and you're going to sit here and try to give me advice? Why don't you take something from them and let's see how they work? Because I watched this happen to a client. She was filthy rich, and they lost everything. They started the $5 clothing stores. Her kids had everything. They had maids, and she actually went crazy. She had a nervous breakdown over losing her Mercedes and her maids, and she treated her people like crap. I would watch how she would treat them. I go, you should learn how to treat people. She goes,
Yeah.
but they're not the same level as I said. Anybody that works, we're all at the same level. The only difference is maybe I make more money than the woman cleaning your house, but I'm no different than her, and she's no. But this woman couldn't understand that till she lost everything. So I try to tell these people, you can lose everything,
In a
and
minute.
your kids can wake up and not get that little 10 million trust fund money, because it's you're ridiculous telling me what I should do when my son gets up and
Yeah.
works 7 days a week if he has to. I work 7 days
How did she know so much about you to tell you that?
because we're friends.
Oh, okay.
We're
She was
friends.
giving
She's
you
also my
unsolicited
friend.
advice.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had to put her and give her some advice. What would your kids be doing? They wouldn't know how to survive. A
Well-
lot of kids go to college. Their parents send them to colleges, these type of people, to meet a rich guy that's equal to them as they feel.
yeah, that's it.
And see, my daughter, I have
what
had to do
happens.
that. Like my oldest, she'll buy her children Air Jordans and I mean, they're sitting here with hood
I
rich
don't buy no
clothes
Air
on,
Jordans now.
and so then she's sitting there rocking a Coach pocketbook, driving a BMW. And then she's like, Daddy, I need some money. I'm like, why? We ain't got no groceries. Well, eat that Coach pocketbook you got and eat them little Air
Thank
Jordans you
you.
put on it. You know what I'm saying?
See, my son
Absolutely.
drives a
trying to live
2011
hood
Prius.
rich.
Right.
They have to learn. They
Why
have to
I
learn.
can't eat the purse. Well, put it on eBay and sell it and get some grocery money, you know? I told you not to go spend all that money. So maybe you need that. Maybe your stomach needs to growl for a day or two. You know?
Reality slap in the face.
Now, them
You gotta
babies,
get your
I'll make sure they
priorities.
got food. Them grandbabies, I'll make sure they got some Similac and whatever they need. But you shit. I'm sorry. I can't do
See,
it.
I teach my kids, if
But-
you have to work 7 days a week, that's the way it goes. But,
Now, let me ask.
but if you need help and you're really at that point where something didn't go, I'm there, but I'm not there every day. Sorry.
Now, see, Apollo, and I'm not criticizing, but I'm asking a question. You said you won't help your daughter, but the grandchildren, you'll make sure they're fed. But isn't that
Yes.
helping your daughter indirectly?
Well, because the grandchildren are 18 months and a year old, so it's not their fault that their mama was hood rich. So I'll go buy them some food
I understand.
because they can't. Yeah,
But don't you think after a while that your daughter knows that? So then that means that she won't
well, no,
hustle
it's not
as-
it's not a repetitive thing. Too.
Okay,
I don't.
okay.
I've only done it
But
like
I've-
once or twice.
I've seen that with a lot of people where they'll use that mindset and say, "Okay, I'm gonna help my grandchildren, but I'm not gonna help you." But
yeah, a can of
indirectly,
Similac was like $24.
yeah,
you know?
but it doesn't matter because I think sometimes, and I'm not saying your daughter is an example of this, but I know people who will intentionally do this, knowing that you're gonna pick up the ball and make sure those grandchildren are taken
Right.
care of, and they know that, so they'll go buy that
Right.
Coach purse or go to the movie
Right.
or go hang out and take that money that they had
Mm-hmm.
and not buy the stuff that they need
Right.
because they know grandmama is going to step up and make sure those grandchildren are taken care of. It happens.
Yeah. But
They-
there's limits in that. I mean,
And they
there's certain
know
limits.
There
how to
are
do
limits.
it. They're working you.
I don't think they're working.
No,
Yeah,
she
and
doesn't.
that's
She
sad.
didn't work me. She
I
didn't
don't
work
think they're
And
working.
the, and the
I'm not
ones
saying
who
you
do
Do
that
you
ought to be
ever help
ashamed of
your
themselves.
grandkids?
Of
or your
course.
because
Of course.
I've
But-
only done it
But
a
you
couple
don't
times.
do it all the time.
No, but I don't do it because my children can't do it. I give them gifts, but they are responsible for taking care of those children.
You've never helped your
Period.
son.
Not taking care of my grandchild because he is being irresponsible. No, hell no.
I don't think
My
it's
daughter called me from-
irresponsible sometimes. I mean, my kids don't buy Coach bags. and that.
My
They
children
thrift shop.
have never called me and said, "I need some food for the babies," or "I need this for the babies."
No, I don't
never,
get those calls.
never,
Right.
never. Ain't.
Well,
no.
she came by the house one day and was like, "I need some money." I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "I'm about to hit my cycle. I don't have no pads or tampons, and I need some milk." I'm like, "Well, just get in the car. We'll ride down here." Well, ride where? To the store. I'm gonna buy you some pads and some milk and some whatever else. No, I don't want to do that. That's embarrassing. Well, just write it down. I'll go buy it and bring it back. You can.
Right,
wait. She
right.
didn't want that. She wanted the money.
Right, exactly.
And then
That's
one
my
time she
point.
called me from the courthouse. She had gotten they didn't even tell me she'd gotten in trouble with the police for some little foolishness she had done. Wasn't nothing major criminal, but she had was calling 911 and hanging up on them. Didn't know they could come just track her phone. And so so the police came to the house, took her to. They weren't even gonna take her to jail, but she got loud with them. So anyway, make a long story short, they got it. They pleaded something. She pled guilty, but she had to pay court costs that day.
Yeah.
And so she calls like, I need $200. I'm like, for what? It's a court. Why are you just now telling me about it? If you'd have called me when it happened, I could have had my friend who's an attorney handle that for you, and you wouldn't even be paying court costs. You know, we could have got it dismissed. And then she's like, well, I don't know. We're here. I'm like, see, you wait till it's the last minute,
Yeah.
then you call me. So you want $200. So this is the deal. I'm going to give you $200. I'm going to come down there with $200 under one condition. Every Saturday for the next 4 weeks, you're going to come to my house. You're going to do my laundry. You're going to wash it, dry it, fold it, hang it up. You're going to vacuum and dust, and I'm going to pay you $50. It should take you about 2 hours to do that. So you're going to make $25 an hour, but I'm marking that off this $200.
Right.
I ain't gonna fold your old dirty drawers. Really? You don't. So you won't be
pick
folding
and
dirty
choose,
drawers.
right.
You'll be folding clean drawers.
Right.
So you don't want to do how? I ain't coming over there doing it. I was like, all right, well, I'm hanging up then. She said, well, what am I supposed to do?
Well, you
I'm like,
figure it out. Call somebody
you
else.
pack a toothbrush. You pack a toothbrush because you're going to jail.
Reality slap.
Yeah.
See, that's a lesson of tough love, and you got to do that with children.
You have to.
You have
That
to.
wasn't tough love. That was, I'm going to bail you out at the last minute. All you got to do is pay it off and I was going to give her $25 an hour to pay it off.
Yeah, but see, that
And
was
we could have hung out together and had a good time in the process. She could have come over and made good out of that time.
But that wasn't the tough love. The tough love was when she rejected the idea of doing that.
Right.
Now it's okay.
Yeah.
You figure it out. Call somebody else.
Well, if she didn't have the 200 by 5, they were going to lock her up.
Right. So
Right.
what
and
happened?
that was a tough look thinking about that jail time.
Well, I just said to you, you better take a toothbrush because I ain't bringing you no money.
But what
and
happened?
reality kicked her in the ass real quick.
What happened?
Real quick.
What happened?
They probably would have let her out though after.
Did
the
you give her
day.
the 200?
No, she called her mother's father.
and they
So
gave
she
it to
called her. Yeah, he gave it to her.
Okay. So was she mad at you after that because she had to go somewhere else?
Oh yeah, I mean but she got over it.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Right.
And she knows not to come to me with that. What do you call it? What's that word?
Bovine.
She knows not to come over here with no bovine.
That's right.
You can bring some Avon, but no bovine.
Well, see, that
But
was a lesson.
What trips me out about our children is that, the ones that do this, and I think it's wrong, of course, don't run game on me. I love you. All right? Don't run this try to con on me because it's not going to work. Yeah. You can't con a con man, and don't try to do a short or long con on me.
Mm-hmm.
If you just come out and ask me, and for whatever reason that are legitimate to ask me for money, I got you.
Yeah.
But don't give me the sob story, and don't give me this lie you've heard for 2 days prior to us meeting. Don't do that.
Yeah.
You're wasting more time, and my time is important to me. Don't do that at all. Because the next time you may really need it, I ain't going to give it to you.
That's right. Another lesson in life. I've learned 1,000 of them. And our children and our grandchildren are going to have to do the same thing.
Well, Lee, I need
Otherwise-
some money for some formula for my baby.
You better go.
I'm
Similac.
gonna send you a PayPal right now.
You better go do some commercials.
He said, wait, but that's bovine.
Go do
He's
some
like, you ain't got
promo.
no baby.
No. If you got some babies at this point, you really need you really got a problem. Yo,
I'm
old
thinking
ass
about
making
having me
babies.
another one.
No,
Trying
he's
to find me a
what are
little
you like?
40-year-old.
40, 45, 44?
40. I'll be 47 this
He's
year.
young enough to
He's
still
too,
have babies.
too damn old.
Yeah, I can still have one.
You ain't gonna make
Find
He
me a
said,
little,
go back.
it. No.
find me a little supple 22-year-old.
Well, you
Have
better
me
have
some
a
little-
lot of money for that one.
Now, see, why is that? Why is
Because
that?
they don't want old guys unless you got
You got
old
some
money.
That's right.
That's
You
not
think-
always true.
Oh,
That's
it
not
Now,
usually
wait a
is.
minute.
always
Now,
true.
I wouldn't do that. Let's go dip into your bird bath of money and get this 22-year-old.
I don't go to the bird bath, and that ain't no bird bath. Carol got everybody calling it a bird
Everybody
bath.
saying it right.
I don't go but about 4 times a year, about
Yeah.
seasonal.
Okay. Once a quarter, huh?
So that's what, 800 a year?
Yep, about 800 a year.
Damn.
It's not bad.
Do you tip
No.
them?
Shit.
No, I don't tip them. I tell them to turn the porch light off and save energy when I go out. That's the only tip I give them.
You can watch this tip.
I tell you
about
what,
as far as it goes.
Apollo, I'm gonna save you $400 a year. You ready?
You gonna come over here and rub my shoulders?
No,
twice
he's
a
going
year?
to send you a bird bath.
No.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a bird bath. I'm gonna take your ass out in your backyard and put the water hose on you.
Like I'm a stuck dog. Just hose me down.
I'm gonna hose you down for $100, and you're gonna get the
My grandmother
you're gonna
say
get more
you can-
pleasure
you
out
can
of
shit
that.
in one hand and wish in the other and see which one fills up first.
You'll feel better because you're gonna save $100.
No, I
and I'm gonna
won't.
bird bath you in your backyard. You don't even have
You
to
have
burn
to-
gas.
You have to give me a twist job in the process.
No.
though.
You just gonna get hosed down.
What's a twist job?
I'm not even going to let
Yeah,
Apollo.
we're not
been down
asking.
that
Never
road
mind,
before.
never mind.
You know what it is.
She forgot.
No, I really don't.
Your wrist is all jacked up now.
Oh. Oh, okay. I
Is
get
that
it.
why you got that carpal tunnel thing on your wrist, Carol?
Yeah.
No, I
You
don't.
got a lot of miles on
Carol, I was just wondering, maybe that gate around your house that we were talking about earlier is to keep you in.
it. Really? Because she get out there and get on the wow.
That's for when you get lit up in there. That's to protect
I
you
never
from
heard that saying before.
Really?
though. No, I haven't.
get lit.
No, twisted.
Twist. It's nice to know what you guys call
Twist,
these
twist.
things.
Twisted around the top.
It's too bad we can't get these phones hooked up.
Yeah.
I need Laura in here.
No, Laura, leave Laura out of it.
No, you don't. You don't need Laura now.
No.
And Andrea Paysinger said Carol will be on the rich side of the wall in the poor rich section.
And the
That's
poor
called
rich.
urban. That's called urban renewal.
On the what side is she going to be on?
She said Carol will be on the rich side of the wall in the poor rich.
Poor
section.
rich section. Yeah.
That's
There
middle
won't be a
class, I
poor rich section.
Well, see, what I guess what she's saying is it's different classes of rich. So you'll be on the lower end. You won't be a billionaire, in other words.
You
No,
won't be in the wealthy.
I would be fine on the other side, to be honest.
Would you like to?
I work very, very hard, but I have no desire to live like they live. They're miserable. I have clients, I can honestly tell you, they don't leave their bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
They have these
Really?
huge bathrooms.
I got a
and
new contest.
They don't leave there. They're
Howard
not
Hughes
happy.
types?
I got a new contest I want you to do promos for. It's going to be called A Billionaire for One Day. We will give you $1 billion to spend, but you have to do it all in one day, and everything that you spend it on, it cannot generate more income. $1 billion.
So what can you do with it
Spend
if you
it
can't
all.
go buy buildings and stuff?
But see, that's the challenge. That's the challenge. Think about it.
Well,
What could you buy that wouldn't generate additional income if you
well,
had
I
$1
could
billion?
probably buy a house for each of my kids.
But see, that's an asset.
It's an asset for them,
I would
not
buy
me.
a tiny house.
You said I can't make
No.
money.
Buy stock
The
at
value.
Amazon.
You
That's
can't
going to
buy
make you
stock.
money.
You're going to make money, but see, if you give it to somebody, you're not making money. They are.
Okay, see, you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Buy
they're
gold
making
You
money.
have to give it away.
Well, that's what I would do. I would
Yeah.
buy houses and get
Well,
all
that's
my
what
No, no,
friends
no.
out
Buffett
of
and Bill
debt.
Gates are doing.
It would
you
be
just-
their houses, not
I
mine.
know, but you can't buy it for someone else because that would become an asset
I
to
would
them.
I would give them the money to buy the
There
house.
you go. That's
But
the only way to do
That's
it.
the way I would do it.
Yeah.
I don't, you can only spend so much of that money. I mean, I watch a lot of my clients, they're very unhappy.
You don't think you could spend $1 billion in a day?
Yeah, I can, giving it to people. I sure in the hell could.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I got somewhere to go rest when I want to.
No, they're gonna treat you like a stepchild. Say, no, you can't come on. We're busy this weekend. But wait a minute, I gave you $1 million to buy that place. The kids are coming over this weekend. I won't have no room in the house. They'll treat you like a bald head stepchild. You know that.
I don't like staying at
When you
people's
give people
houses.
something, then they turn their back on you. In most cases. Once they
If
get
you
it,
feed a dog for 3 days, he'll remember you for 3 years. If you
I'm
feed
just
a
curious,
human for
though,
3
why
years,
would
they'll forget you
Andrea-
in 3 days.
I want to
That's
know,
about right.
Andrea, why would you think I would be on the rich side?
she was just making a funny.
No, I'm just curious.
I don't know.
I don't make that kind of money. I've come up with some things that could probably make that kind of money.
But see, the perception that people may have of you is that you're very wealthy.
No,
'Cause
I'm
you
very.
know
I
all
would
the
never be very
Jacksons and you know
wealthy
all the
because I'm very
celebrities and-
generous.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been known to help people out.
But you're frugal also. You don't just spend money on crazy stuff.
No,
you-
I don't.
yeah, you'll
I'm
go
not
to
going to
the-
go pay thousands of dollars for some designer dress.
Right.
I'll look at it and have somebody make it for me,
Mm-hmm.
the same outfit.
See? So that's
It's
smart.
like people that buy Coach bags. The people that make those Coach bags, and I've seen this when I was overseas all the time.
Mm-hmm.
are usually Asian companies and that. That's really the real bag when they sell the fake ones and they make those companies pay all this
Yeah,
money
knockoffs.
for the real, but they're
Yeah.
not really a knockoff because they're the one that really makes them.
Right.
So that's what I would buy. Nobody knows the damn difference.
Right.
You'd
That's
be
right.
surprised how many wealthy people, when you see them wearing a big diamond, that diamond ain't real. They got the real one put somewhere. That's why I know Kim Kardashian, as big of a businesswoman, as great as she is at it, nobody stole that diamond ring from her because it wasn't there.
Nah.
It wasn't even real. Her ass ain't even real.
Well, it isn't that.
No,
Kim's
that doesn't
very,
matter.
very smart because I've known her since
that's
she
all
was
right,
younger.
right.
She's not an idiot. When she was like 16 years old,
Mm-hmm.
she designed these butterfly clips that all the kids were wearing. Now, at 16, she made $75,000. Now, you had a big company come in and rip her off.
Mm.
But the fact is, she's always been really smart. She's never been a druggie or a drinker, not the Kim I know.
Right.
I think
Just
the
a
only
whore.
thing guilty I don't think she's a whore because she married somebody with money and
Well, she put out a sex
Wow.
tape
she didn't
to-
put
to-
that
to-
out. She was with the
Yes,
guy.
she did.
No, let me finish.
Well, she
with
guest starred in
uh,
it. She was
No.
co-starring. in
Paris
it.
Hilton told her,
Okay,
if you
let's
want to
step
increase
back
your
a minute.
brand, you have to
None of
release
you
a sex
guys
tape.
have sat and wanted to film something when you think you're real great at it.
Yeah, but it was leaked purposeful. It
No,
was purposely
he leaked it.
Listen.
Nope.
He leaked
Listen.
it. And
Listen.
the mother said, now the mother's very smart. She said, well, it's out there. You might as well redo it, make it a little better, and make the money because you're an idiot because it's out there. They're all going to get it for free. But I don't know a man in this world, maybe there's a few, that don't ask a woman, hey, well, you're out of town. Can you send me a picture of you maybe touching yourself? Or,
I've never done that, ever.
Me either.
well, most men do. Don't tell me
And
you
what-
wouldn't sit
so
and
you
want to
know-
be filmed. If you were looking great, you sure in the hell would.
Yeah, I've
You
looked
ain't
great
gonna-
most of my life. I never wanted to film myself.
Well, nowadays they do that. And like I tell young people, don't be
Well,
stupid.
they've been doing it for a long time.
Don't be stupid because a long time
Remember Jane
ago it was
Kennedy?
just a Polaroid.
Yeah, Leon had his whole fist up in that
Oh,
thing.
yeah. Sure did. Talk
Yeah.
about Fist of Fury.
And the guy from Hogan's Heroes was doing it years ago. The
But
guy
see,
that
they
was
did-
Bob Crane.
But you guys
Yeah,
don't
he was
get
into
it.
home
They
porn.
did this for their
Sure did.
personal thing. They
Yeah.
didn't know that woman or that man was going to leak it. So nowadays you just
That's-
can't do that. And they have created a law
That's why
where
you
they
never
can't
do it because you don't know
There
where
was a
that's
couple
Yeah, thank
that
you.
went to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for their honeymoon. They
Mm-hmm.
went back 10 years later and stayed in the room that they stayed in 10 years prior. And they had an adult channel, and they were watching themselves having sex 10 years prior. They had been filmed.
Oh, that's too funny.
That's why I really like that remake, the one rewind of 2.5 Men,
Uh-huh.
because of the weird brother, the stupid stuff he does.
Wow.
I watch
about
that.
Alan?
Alan. I watch that almost every night.
The chiropractor.
Yes,
it's a great
he's
show.
so stupid.
Unbelievable.
Hey, the thing about the stool
Good
when you
stuff.
take a dump is real, though. You put a little footstool up under you, and it comes out easier.
What is he talking about?
I have no idea.
Alan and 2.5 Men. He always takes a footstool in
Oh,
the
that's-
bathroom when he has a bowel movement, saying that lifting your feet up actually puts you at an
Well,
angle.
actually,
Yeah.
to be honest, Asians won't sit on the toilet. The kid that lives in my house, he
Yeah, they
squ-
squat.
He
the
squats
toilets
on
are in the
toilet.
floor. Yeah, they have holes in the floor.
But I don't have a hole on the floor. He squats on the toilet because one time he didn't lock the door.
Like a
and
dog,
my
sitting like
son walked in, and my son came back out, and he said, "Oh my God!"
He
My
put his
son
feet
was
on the
sick.
on the toilet.
Yes,
Yeah, on
they
the-
squat on the toilet. They put their feet and they squat, and it drops.
I'll tell you what, I can't do that.
Slip and fall in. Jeez.
Bust your
I
ass.
need one of those helper
That's
alert buttons for that shit.
Hey, you got
gotta
2
be
minutes. I'm
pretty
about
limber.
y'all. Y'all have a good rest of your show. It's
All
2
right.
minutes left.
Don't
All
be
right,
leaving
Apollo.
now, turkey
Peace
butt.
out.
Peace
It's
out.
time to play the music. Let me hear that music.
All right. You want to hit it? You
Come
want
on.
to? You want to ride out on the theme?
Yeah.
All right, theme out.
Ugh, I got a nap coming on.
I
can
gotta
hear
go
it.
to Costco.
Hey, you guys got all this stuff to do. Lord have mercy. Well, go do what you
Assalamu
got to do to make it do what
Salami
it
and
do.
bacon.
Yeah,
Peace in the Middle East.
yeah. I
Oh.
support the lick.
Chris, thanks for wishing me Happy Mother's Day. Not
Yeah, happy Mother's Day to you,
Not
Carol.
that these other two couldn't do it.
I did.
No, you didn't.
I said it
They
on
did
Thursday.
You
already.
did not do it yesterday.
Okay. No, I didn't do
Uh-oh.
it yesterday. I was busy. I'm sorry, but I know you were having a happy Mother's Day because we talked about what you were going to be doing.
I did, but at the
did.
end of the day, I was pissed.
Well, it's okay. It's a new day now.
It is.
Don't be pissed.
I've moved
Forever.
on.
Well, happy belated Mother's Day, Carol.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
You're welcome.
The mother of all mothers.
One of my homeboys called me and said, man, I just thought I'd call you because my mother's dead. And I'm like, why would you call me on Mother's Day? He's like, because you my motherfucker. That's why. I'm like, okay. God bless you.
Yeah, I called a couple guys and said that similar. I didn't call them a uffer, but I said, happy Mother's Day, mother. All right, well, listen, we'll be back
Peace
tomorrow.
out.
Yep. 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. That's Pacific time. So you calculate what time zone you're in. You figure it out. I can't do that for you. You can't figure that out? Go buy a watch with 3 different zones on them. We'll be back tomorrow. Thank you for being a part of the show. You make it a show. We just come in and do what we do. You tune in. Drea and all the rest. Bobby Stamps, I saw you. And all the rest. We'll see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. right here on the powerofvoices.com.